Hello, everyone. Earlier today, I saw an article from Looper that was the 50 greatest RPGs of all time. And while anytime there's a list like that, it's going to have some reaction from people. I mean, they're probably written just to have that reaction. I have a reaction. And I wanted to share it because I have some thoughts. Now, I don't generally think of Looper as an authority on video games, but they do a lot of content around entertainment in general, and they have a pretty big website and YouTube channel. So we're going to take a look at it. Now, I'm not going to share the article on my screen because I got hit with something earlier, and I don't want to possibly be hit with a copyright strike and have another thing against me for YouTube. So I'm just going to I'll link to it, the article in the description, but I'll look on and I'll give my thoughts as I go. And I haven't played all of the 50 games, and so I'm not going to have something to say about a lot of it. But there are a few things that I was going to say. And starting off with number 50 is Quest 64, a game that's described as so generic they named it Quest 64. Now they think it's the 50th greatest RPG of all time, which is a little mind boggling to me. I have not played it, but I have not heard anybody really say anything great about it. It's basically okay, generic. So I'm a little surprised to see it on the list of the top 50 greatest RPGs. We can keep going. Like 49 is Genosia. I've never heard of it, never played it. 48 Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales, which is basically based around Gwent. I have not played it, had zero desire. I didn't get into Gwent as much as everybody else did. 47 is Darkest Dungeon, which I've heard a lot of good things about. Also haven't played. I'm not a big fan of these games where it's like, oh, it's so dark and hard and you have to make all these tough choices because, it's just sad and depressing. 46 is a RuneScape, which probably wouldn't have considered to put on this list, but I played the crap out of it, and I can't argue anybody that says it's pretty good. Number 45 is Fantasian, which is from Mistwalker Studio, like from the creators of Final Fantasy. I've not played it. It's exclusive to Apple Arcade, so it doesn't have a lot of people on it playing it, but I've heard good things. 44's Mother, or now called Earthbound Beginnings in here. Once again, haven't played it, heard a lot of good things. 43, Live Alive. I don't know how it's pronounced. I've heard some people say it's hidden gem and hasn't been released in a lot of areas until just recently with the remake. If it was so great, I think I would know how to pronounce it. 42 Lunar, Silver Star Story complete. Never played it, heard good things. 41 World Ends With You. Once again, never played it, heard good things. I'm beginning to realize that I haven't played a lot of these games, maybe. Yakuza Like a Dragon is number 40. I've tried playing the original Yakuzas, which weren't RPGs. I didn't get very far. It's not my cup of tea. Maybe I'll check this one out. 39 Golden Sun. I've heard mixed things about Golden Sun too. Like, it's kind of generic and not as difficult as they try to make it seem, but yeah, a lot of people seem to like it. Number 30, Phantasy Star Online. Played Phantasy Star Online 2, thought it was mediocre. I don't know how the original one is, never played it. 37, Genshin Impact, mobile free to play, right? But a lot of people seem to like it. It's gotten into popularity. 36, Dragon Quest 11. Didn't really care for that game very much. Played about 50 hours of it. Didn't get into it totally after that. 35, Illusion of Gaia. Once again, I haven't played it, heard good things, but it's a little surprising to see it that high because a lot of other games in the Super Nintendo era I've heard a lot of better things about, and they're not on this list. Number 34, Skies of Arcadia. I haven't played it, heard great things. Great things, can't complain about that. 33, Xenoblade Chronicles. Now, it's once again, I haven't played it, heard great things. 32, Shin Megami Tensei 5. Now, this is the one that I'm a little surprised about because this is a game that I was kind of excited about when I heard it was in development because I had played Persona 5. And then I was like, yes, I want to try, Persona as a spin off of the Shin Megami Tensei. I want to try what it was spin off from. And then it came out. and didn't hear anything, and I totally forgot that it had already come out. And now they're saying it's 32nd best RPG of all time. I find that hard to believe, considering that nobody's talking about it, and it just came out. Number 31, Fire Emblem Awakening. That's credited with really bringing attention to Fire Emblem in the West, which is considered a respected franchise. 30, Fallout New Vegas. I'm more of a fan of Fallout 3. It's probably because I played it first. I don't think Fallout New Vegas did a lot to change it, but I know a lot of people love the role-playing elements of it better, so I won't complain. 29, Secret of Mana. Heard great things. Tried playing it on the Switch version. Didn't get into it. Maybe because I'm just, it's a little old past me. It's hard sometimes to get into those older games. 28, Persona 4 Golden. Haven't played it. Heard great things. Won't argue. 27, Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. Now, this is an interesting game for me because it's a game where I tried to play it. I just could not get into the combat system, the way it was run, but that opening story mode or, scenes, those gripped me. So if you want to praise this game, you can. It looks beautiful. The story was really, grabbed me for a second, but I just couldn't get through the gameplay. 26, Kingdom Hearts 2. Oh my goodness, I loved Kingdom Hearts when they first came out. I loved the first one, I loved the second one. Those are maybe like my favorite games of all time, no matter if I played them. Went back and tried playing them again with the Story So Far collection before 3 came out. Had a much different experience, less loving, but I will never hate on Kingdom Hearts. 25, Final Fantasy 9. Okay, I tried playing Final Fantasy 9. I just tried playing it twice. After the fact, after the PS4 was even out, I think those times, and couldn't get into it. But I know a lot of people love it. Won't argue. 24, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. Game I've never heard of, although I have heard of the Mario and Luigi franchise. To see it so high on something that people don't talk about that much, yeah, a little surprised. 23, Planescape Torment. Yeah, heard great things. Haven't played it. Not my cup of tea. I love some CRPGs, but from what I understand, it's very dialogue based, and it's a lot of reading, and I don't like reading on a screen. I prefer real books and to Kindle. 22, Fire Emblem Three Houses. Heard great things. Want to play it. 21, Undertale. Not my cup of tea. I tried playing it, couldn't get into it, but the way people praise it, gush about that game, I won't say anything. Number 20, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Now, this is another one that's like, to me, way too low, high. I would say it should be better than 20, because a lot of people, if they put together their list of the top 50 video games, regardless of genre of all time, a lot of people would have Witcher 3 higher than that. They top 10, top 5, maybe even number 1. So to see the 20 for RPGs, a little shocking. 19, Persona 5 Royal. Haven't played Royal, played the original Persona 5. Absolutely loved it. One of my favorites of all time. 18, Divinity Original Sin 2. Had trouble getting into it. I'll probably give it another chance sometime. Number 17, this is an interesting one. The Legend of Dragoon, which, okay, I've not played it, so I won't hate on it, but when you look at the hype meter around Legend of Dragoon and Witcher 3, one of them gets way more hype, and it's 100% deserved. Everything good about Witcher 3 that's been said about Witcher 3 deserves to be said about it. So the fact that The Legend of Dragoon is ranked higher than that is considered a better game, according to Looper. No, I'm sorry. My only complaint about The Witcher 3 is that there's just too much. Witcher 3 is basically an all-you-can-eat buffet served to you all at once. That's it. That's my only complaint. And yet, somehow, The Legend of Dragoon is ranked higher than it? I don't think so. 16, Dark Souls. Never played Dark Souls. The only Soulsborne game I played is Bloodborne, and I was not very good at it, so I didn't get into it. 15, Pokemon Red and Blue. Never got into Pokemon, but yeah, it's Pokemon. They're going to be on this list. You can't have a list without them. I would put them on even though I've never played them. 14, Final Fantasy VI. One of the few Final Fantasy games released in the West that I have not played. Maybe the only one, or at least the main line. So can't comment too much, but yeah, a lot of great things are done. 13 is also interesting to me, Disco Elysium, because it's a game that's sort of, I don't know, it's new, it's different, it's a little unique, and so I'm wondering if when you make this list, if you were to make this list 20 years from now, if you would look back as fondly on Disco Elysium as I'm looking at it now. I've not played it. Uh, I know a ton of Game of the Years, but I just want to know if that's like actual long-lasting praise that's gonna have, or if it's just because it's new and different, and so that's why so many people like it now. That's I won't criticize it, but I'm interested in seeing that because 20 years from now, you have games on this list like Deus Ex is number 12. It's 20 years old and it's still up here and it's still remembered fondly. So I wonder if that same thing's going to be with Disco Elysium. I have not played Deus Ex. I do have it in my Steam library. I want to get to it shortly, but I've heard great things. They've made tons of sequels, so it's very, very well thought of. Number 11, World of Warcraft. Once again, one of those things where it's like, should it be higher? uh, I've played a little World of Warcraft. I'm not a huge MMO person. Um, but yeah, this game's been around forever. I think it launched in 2004? Yeah, November 23rd, 2004, according to this article. And it's still going strong, so yeah, that's fine. Maybe it should be higher. Number 10, Elden Ring, is another one that's like, I think with Disco Elysium, is it going to be thought of so highly 2 years from now? I don't know. If you had made this list immediately after Sekiro came out, would that have been on the list instead of Elden Ring? I don't know. Bloodborne probably would have if they had made this right after Bloodborne, and Bloodborne's not on this list now. Spoiler, it's not in the top 10. So I just wonder if Elden Ring will be thought of so highly years from now. Number 9, Paper Mario: A Thousand Year Door. Once again, I know people really enjoy the Paper Mario games. I have not played any of them. I did play the original, Super Mario RPG with Legend of the Seven Stars. I don't remember it being on the list, which surprised me because that is the game that is thought of very highly, from what I understand. A game that the developers, will still play that game over other games they've made, like nowadays. So that's interesting that all these other ones get up there, but not this one. Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. First RPG I ever played. This game is amazing. You could put it at number 1, and I wouldn't complain. Number 8 seems fitting because it hasn't aged great, and I don't like the combat in it very much, but I love this game, and it's not just because it's Star Wars, but that definitely helps. 7, Dragon Age Origins. Now, this is a game when I first played Dragon Age Origins, I didn't get into it, but then I gave it a second chance, and I absolutely loved it. I went through and I read all of the books, all of the lore, all of the glossary or indexes or whatever they call them. Just read everything, spent as much time as I could, learned everything I could about this world, and I absolutely loved it. 7, perfect for it. 6, Earthbound. Once again, haven't played this. It's thought of very highly, but also it's a very cult classic. It's very not everybody's cup of tea, so it's interesting to see that it's so high up here. Number 5 is one that's just NieR Replicant. Like, really? NieR Replicant? When this game came out, nobody talked about it. Nobody liked it. And even after it gained popularity because of its sequel was so good, people went back and started talking about this. They still complained about it because its combat wasn't any good. I have tried playing, I played the one on the Xbox. Now that's the other little thing because you have NieR, then you have NieR Replicant, and one was on the Xbox, one was on the PlayStation 3. I'm sorry, the Xbox 360. One was on the PlayStation 3, and it's two very similar but different type games. But once again, the only reason anybody talks about NieR Replicant is because NieR Automata or Automata or whatever, was so good. So I don't understand how you can put this game on there and not the other one. And also, how the hell is that number 5 all time? I'm sorry, no. I've played it, but no, it doesn't. No. Number 4, Baldur's Gate 2, Shadows of Amn. I'm not a real-time with pause strategy kind of guy. I hated Baldur's Gate. I don't think I ever played Baldur's Gate 2. I played the first one, and I got upset because I kept pausing, giving my people orders, and then they would ignore them after 5 seconds and go back to doing something stupid like, oh, I'm an archer, I'm going to charge into melee range. So tried to stop it from happening. It kept happening. My characters kept dying. I lost patience, so I never got into that series. So I won't really comment, but that's just been a me thing, I guess. The people still love it. Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim, that number 3. Not surprising, right? It's Skyrim. They're still making it. They're still putting out things. People love it. People play this game for hundreds of hours and still want more, more, more. 3, some people would argue, is too low. I can't complain. Can't argue with that. Number 2, Final Fantasy 7. I've played Final Fantasy 7. I played it well after it came out, like a couple years ago, and I did not enjoy it as much as everybody else enjoyed it. But I got into it. I was able to play the whole thing. I didn't get annoyed with its ATB gauge, which I don't like ATB gauges. I didn't get annoyed with its lack of voice acting. Not annoyed, but I didn't lose interest in the story. It still carried me through, but I just didn't get into it as much as everybody did. I think it's very much a product of its time, and most of the people that look back on it, and most people that say it's good, are looking at it through rose-tinted nostalgia glasses. But it was good for its time. It was great for its time, so it deserves a number 2. And number 1 is Chrono Trigger, which, once again, it's another game I tried playing, I couldn't get into. I know a lot of people love it. I know it's strong storytelling. There's interesting comments to some people. Me, don't like the ATV gauge. Couldn't get into it because of that. It's got a great pedigree, but people love it, and I won't argue against it. So that's the top 50. And I had a couple notes that I wanted to get into. Like, first of all, Mass Effect? Like, where the hell is Mass Effect? Are you trying to say it's not an RPG, or that it's not one of the top 50? Are you trying to say it's not as good as Nier Replicant? Like, what? Anyway, even if you just put 2 on there. Mass Effect 2 is, I think, the second highest rated, according to Metacritic, PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 game, like, ever made. Yeah, I don't understand why that's not on this list. I really don't. It's really, really weird to me. But okay? No, not okay. Not okay at all. It should be on this list. No reason not to be. And 1 or 2. Okay, I get why you don't want to put 3 on there, but 1 or 2 has to be on this list. I don't understand how it's not. Okay, so one other thought is that I mentioned Illusion of Gaia, and there were some other like 16-bit Super Nintendo games that weren't on the list that I've played and thought were fairly decent. Didn't like Breath of Fire, which is available now through the Switch Online, so that shows that it's pretty, but that's not your Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars, another great game. Like, that is a great game. That is still a great game. I did not play that until a couple of years ago, and I think it's a great game. So it's one of the few that have, aged so well that people nowadays can pick it up and still love it. So those are the 50 greatest RPGs according to Looper, and the credited author of the article is Looper staff. So that's everybody there, or enough people that you can't just say, oh, this is one person's opinion. This is a collaborative effort, and I'm still questioning quite a few of those things. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day.